Hello, everybody, and welcome to the entertainment headquarters. And it's time for another marvelous review. See what I did there? But yes, this review is something that I was 50-50 if I was going to go to the theatres to see or wait till it came out on streaming. But, I had a few days off and I thought to myself, you know what? Got nothing else to do, nothing planned with any friends. So why not go to the cinemas and check this out? So I am here to review none other than Marvel's latest outing, and it is, of course, Captain America Brave New World. So why I was hesitant to go see any, Marvel, properties in theaters is because I just haven't been into Marvel as of late. I think the last show I watched, I watched WandaVision. I think the last full show I watched from the first episode to the last was Moon Knight, and that was okay. But anything outside of, Marvel, I haven't really been watching. It just hasn't appealed to me. Like, I didn't even watch the Marvels. The last few shows that's been out there, I haven't really took much notice in. I've heard little bits and pieces about Loki season 2, which I hear was all right. I didn't even watch the Agatha show. And the only thing that pulled me back really was Deadpool and Wolverine, which was, for me, the film of the summer. It really was. Last year's Deadpool and Wolverine. And I'm hoping because, Kevin Feige, I'm hoping because he's listened to the fans that we're heading into a more positive direction. I think it's been like a jigsaw piece with all the bits all over the place, and he's trying to slot them together to make this formula and this one track, road that the franchise needs to go on. And I think it's been all over the place. And I think Marvel's Deadpool and Wolverine was the beginning of hopefully that fresh direction. And now we've got Captain America Brave New World. Now, Chris Evans played, Captain America throughout the first, 10 plus years. And he really brought the heart and the soul to that character. Now we have Anthony Mackie coming in to take the reins and take this version of Captain America into this new direction for Marvel. And for the most part, what I will say is I do like Anthony Mackie as an actor. I thought he did an okay job in this. I was always hesitant if he could lead a Marvel film on his own. And in some ways, he succeeded in this. And in some ways, I feel as if there's a lot of holes being left open that need to be filled in a bit for him to fully become, the full-fledged Captain America. But this is a great beginning, I will say that. So let's have a look at Captain America Brave New World. So, Captain America Brave New World is a 2025 American superhero film based on Marvel Comics, featuring the character Sam Wilson, produced by Marvel Studios. The film was directed by Julius Onah. I don't think I've heard of that director before. Maybe I've just been out of the loop and he's worked with Marvel before, but I cannot remember who that director is. But the film stars Anthony Mackie, Danny Ramirez, Shira Haas, Lumbly, Giancarlo Esposito, Liv Taylor, Tim Blake Nelson, and Harrison Ford. And what I will tell you about this film, the plot very much is like a mixture of different elements and plots from previous Marvel movies and kind of how together to form this new movie. So it really, it's a mixed bag for me personally when it comes to Captain America. So the gist of the plot of this, without spoilers, is as followed. Uh, Sam Wilson's character, the film starts off where he's there to, retain this stolen bit of metal that is a newly discovered piece of metal that's been stolen by, I guess, a vigilante, a mercenary called Quicksilver, who is the character played by Esposito, and he is planning to deliver this to his buyer, but the buyer doesn't turn up. So that is the start of this big mystery that leads into Thunderbolt Ross, who is now the president-elect, and he is trying to sort out this new peace treaty between Japan and Europe for, to work together to harvest the minerals and the materials on the new island that was formed from the remains of Tiamat from the Eternals. Now, if you cannot remember what that is, let me show you. Tiamat is, of course, he is the huge celestial that was coming out of the earth in the Eternals. So this island, if my memory serves us right, is Celestial Island. So Japan and the government of the world, along with America, are coming together to do this treaty so they can harvest the minerals and the metals and the materials to use for new technologies, new medicines to advance our technology from the Celestial Island. And there's this peace treaty going on between Thunderbolt Ross, Harrison Ford, and all these other countries. And then you've got Sam Wilson, who basically has, stopped this first kind of intriguing element happening. And then during, time passes, there's an assassination attempt on Thunderbolt Ross, which opens up even more of a mystery. You need to try and figure out who's behind it. And it leads on to like this kind of espionage type superhero and action adventure story. It tries to be like, this film is trying to be and go along the lines of Captain America Winter Soldier, with like this, plot that needs to be solved, all the connections with all the different governments and countries, and each character in this has a small part to play in it. So you've got the Sam Wilson character, who was trying to uncover who tried to assassinate the president, Thunderbolt Ross, because one of his close allies and friends has been framed for the assassination attempt, which is this character who, is a magnificent character. The actor who plays him is magnificent as well. He is Carl Lumbly, and he plays the character who gets framed for the assassination attempt of the president. You have this character who is played by Danny Ramirez. He, for me, was an okay, character to be in this. Torres, he's the new Falcon. He befriends, obviously, Sam Wilson, and he wants to take the reins of being the Falcon throughout the story. They're not introduced to another character who basically is also trying to solve the plot of the assassination attempt of President Thunderbolt Ross. And, she was an okay character. I personally, think she could be a match for the Black Widow. Generally do. I think she played an excellent part in this and could definitely be a rival to the Black Widow going forward. I'm trying to figure out the character's name again of this particular character. Sabra. Sabra is the name of this character. But she, for me, was an interesting counterpart to Captain America. I definitely think she did, the way she did her investigation into the assassination attempt, and then you've got Sam Wilson, who's trying to do everything, the correct way, and is trying to also take corners. She's following the book to try and solve this plot. And then you have the president himself, Harrison Ford, Thunderbolt Ross, who I have to say, out of all of the characters in this, he is the most intriguing character in it all. And for me personally, he has the best basically plot, because if you remember, throughout the course of the Marvel storyline, you've had his character who basically has been against the Avengers, has been against, he's always tried to want to control everything or control how things are operated, and he's caused a lot of pain and a lot of hurt wherever he's went. And now he's the president-elect. He now wants to make amends for the things that he's actually done in the past. And it's an interesting way to take this character. And, he wants to bring the Avengers back. He mentions that at one point, that his end game or his end goal while being president is he would like to form a new kind of Avenger team. And Sam Wilson is hesitant to do that, especially because he thinks if he's with him, it's going to be under his rules only. So basically, it's like going back to like plot elements that happened in Captain America Civil War, where you had the accords that they wanted them to sign so they would work under their rules and regulations and restrictions. That is basically what he feels this president is wanting to do with this new version of the Avengers. And like you say, there's a lot of conspiracies that go on, like who is the mystery buyer who didn't turn up to collect this newly discovered metal element, and who is the one behind the assassination attempt of the president. Well, if you are an average fan of Marvel, then you'll have done your research and you'll know behind it all is the character, the leader. Now, the last time we seen the leader, he looked like this. So the great thing I loved about this is that it literally takes you 16 years into the past and brings the same actor back who played the leader, and they bring him back as the leader again in this movie. And so that is Tim Blake Nelson, who played the leader in not the leader, he played the scientist who was doing the research on the Incredible Hulks and the gamma rays. And at the end of the movie, when there was that epic battle between the Incredible Hulk and the Abomination, there was, lots of chaos consumed, and he was, involved in this big accident that happens. And you see at the last scene, like in the picture below, his head begins to expand and he begins to evolve into the leader character. That was the last we saw of him. The next thing you know, the film jumps with him 16 years later from when that event happened. So this takes place directly 16 years from when he was turned into that character. And it basically is like a direct sequel to that movie, because when he does make his final appearance on screen, and you're finally reintroduced to this character and what kind of involvement he has with all of the other the plots and the conspiracies and what's going on. He explains his backstory, how he now has hatred in his eyes and hatred for a certain individual that has mistreated him and has kept him kind of hidden all this time. When all of the events that we've seen transpire from the end of the Incredible Hulk right up to now. And it was really interesting to see how they did that. And here is a current photo of what the leader now looks like. So not much difference, except obviously his brain is now pulsing Satan outside of his head, like it's now fully formed and is fully functional. And if we take away from the plots of all the different characters, Sam Wilson trying to undo, the mystery and the conspiracies and this hidden plot to overthrow, to destroy this treaty, to frame his friend, to the president trying to stop an all-out war happening, to the leader having his side plot. It is quite an interesting plot, but for me personally, where this film falters is its pacing, and there isn't much action that transpires throughout the film. It definitely feels more like an espionage movie than a Marvel movie. The bulk of your action happens halfway through this film. You only have 2 bits of action at the beginning, and like I say, one of those bits of action is right at the beginning when they are basically trying to stop Sidewinder, when he's trying to sell or hand over that bit of newly discovered metal. You have Hawkeye, not Hawkeye. You have Captain America, but he's also mixed his suit in with the falcon wings, which was quite confusing. Him and his friendship was a great build-up. And of course, the finale of the movie ends in the reveal of the Red Hulk. And it's really well done. I will say they didn't just bring the Hulk into it and go, oh, right, we need a new Hulk, we'll bring in a new Hulk, we'll bring in the Red Hulk, we'll bring him out there and we'll, have him fight the new Captain America for the sake of fighting the new Captain America. Like I say, Harrison Ford's character, Thunderbolt Ross, his plot and his story arc in this movie is the most compelling and it is the most interesting. And I did feel like you did get that payoff with when the Hulk makes his appearance. But overall, this is just a very average movie. It's a very average movie for what it is. It doesn't have much action in it. Like I say, you take away the espionage and the mystery elements of it. It very much has pacing issues. It's a slog to get through. But I do think the acting is incredibly well done. And I do think this is just another chapter in what's building for the future, which is basically what it is. This may have potentially could have easily been a 2-part mini series for Disney Plus, if I'm honest with you. They could have made this a Disney Plus mini series, or they could have just put it bang on Disney Plus as a Disney Plus exclusive movie. And I think you would probably get a bigger payoff with it, because I hear it's doing okay at the box office, but I don't know if it's because fans are that used of Chris Evans as Captain America and they're not willing to give this version a chance, or if this film just didn't appeal to the general audience as well as the bulk of the die-hard Marvel audience. Me personally, like I say, I went into this with an open mind after being hesitant to go, and it's kind of turned out exactly what I expected it to be. It's a okay average Marvel movie with, great acting, great cast. The effects in this, when it came to the Incredible Hulk, I think the bulk of the effects have been given to him, and well done to that, because he does look phenomenal. And like I say, Harrison Ford and how he brought the character to life is really well done. Like the plot twist of how he became the Hulk, I really enjoyed. As for the rest of the scenes with the special effect, it does feel like you can tell it's all done on a green screen, which may make people happy or make people disappointed. Yes, we know these things aren't real and all that stuff, but we don't want to know it's not real. We want to at least feel like some believability in it. And there were some scenes, and when there's a bit of a battle scene when they're going to protect the Celestial Island, between the Japanese government and the American government, and all of a sudden I keep saying Hawkeye, Captain America and the Falcon now have to join together to make sure something doesn't happen. And a lot of that it's great on the big screen, but it does feel, I don't know, it just doesn't feel as epic as it maybe potentially could have been. And that's why I feel as if this should have been regulated to Disney Plus. That's just my opinion. But the plot's a great plot. I do enjoy the plot. I just think it has a lot of pacing issues. It could have shortened some plot elements and, maybe shorten the movie by 10, 15 minutes and just got it together, and give her what we want, which is action. Because we know the plot, we know kind of where it's heading, we know the big reveal at the end, with it's all over the posters, all over the internet. We know the Hulk's coming, we know the Red Hulk's coming, and that's basically what this thing is leading to, the Red Hulk, and the reveal of the leader's past and how it connects with events that's transpired throughout the last 16 years. And then there is a post-credit scene. The post-credit scene for me wasn't anything special. It's not going to shock you. It's not going to basically, it doesn't reveal anything. All it kind of reveals is what we already know, which is we're heading to a certain direction and we're heading to a certain place. And that's all we need to know for this time being. Now we're going into the Thunderbolt not the television series, the Thunderbolt movie, which looks a lot of fun. I've got the same vibes with this. I think it looks interesting. I'm a little bit intrigued, but I'm not that enthusiastic. My biggest thing I'm looking forward to is the Fantastic Four. I'm hoping that will be the film of the summer, the way Deadpool and Wolverine was. And I hope Marvel can do her justice this time with the Fantastic Four. They've had 2 big screen attempts before. They weren't really for me, but this one for me looks amazing, and I can't wait to see what it brings. If I'm going to rate Captain America Brave New World, like I say, positives, great acting. I do think Anthony Mackie did a decent job. There is a little holes here and there in what they're building with his character, but hopefully they can fill them holes in. The big surprise for me, 82-year-old does an amazing performance, is Thunderbolt Ross, Harrison Ford, and how they brought his plot together with the Incredible Hulk, the Red Hulk, was worth the wait for me. It was a really well grafted story that came to life. The rest of the characters are filler characters. The leader was nice to see him on the screen, and it was nice to see how they incorporated him and they kind of filled in the gaps from the 16 years ago mark to present day. So issues, pacing issues, and there's just not enough action in this movie. It's a slow log. It really is a slow log. It should have been shortened by at least 15 minutes, and they should have given just that little bit more of action. So because of that, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 for Captain America Brave New World. I think that's a fair rating for what we get. But where we're headed next, we're heading to the Thunderbolts, we're heading to the Fantastic Four, and let's see if they can pick up the slack where Brave New World let we down. But that's all from me. Keep on enjoying all things entertainment. Keep on enjoying all your movies. Keep on enjoying Marvel, because, you know, I still think it's going to bring with some interesting stuff in the future. I don't think we're done quite yet. But until next time, I'll catch us all at the next one.